Hello and welcome to a very special video. This is my 420 subscriber special, and I'm very grateful to all of you that have subscribed and everyone who's watching this. Hopefully the people who are watching this will join. That would be pretty radical. If you don't, that's cool too. Live your life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. So today, if you haven't seen by the title, I will be analyzing a very special story, a piece of classical literature, if you will, titled My Immortal. And now if you don't know what My Immortal is, this version that I have is equipped with a preface that will very much enlighten those of you who are not already enlightened. So before I tell you all the gimmicks that this video is going to include, as a 420 subscriber special might include, I will read this preface so that you know what the story is about. So without any further ado, preface. To say that My Immortal has a plot might be something of an overstatement. It's more like a loose collection of bad ideas and misspelled words centered around overly long passages about the author's fashion sense and favorite bands. The story is set in some weird dystopian version of the Harry Potter universe, where the struggle between good and evil has been replaced with an eternal struggle between goths and preps. And every main character is either gothic, emo, bisexual, a Satanist, a vampire, or any combination of these. There's a little more, but I'll just leave it at that, because I feel like that's pretty concise for what you think it is, and for what everyone thinks it is, and for what I even think it is. But this video, I'm going to be attempting to flip that all on its head, because for this video, I'm going to be going with the assumption that none of these are mistakes, none of these are even just bad writing. All of it is just a big puzzle that's been put in place to really immerse us in this universe, this sprawling saga, if you will. And we will be exploring that today, and we'll be figuring out what the deal is. So basically, I'm just going to be reading it, and as I go along, I'm going to, as things hit me, I'm going to analyze it for you. I haven't read this in forever, so I don't really remember it that well. So this is going to be a treat. This is going to be fun. We're going to discover things together. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I have no idea how much of this I'm going to go over. Could be a few chapters, could be a good portion of the book. I'm just going to keep going until I feel like it's a good stopping point. So really, who knows? This could be anywhere between 15 minutes and 3 hours. So yes, so that is what I will be doing. And for the gimmick, because of course there has to be a gimmick, 420 subscriber special, I have my trusty inhaler to help me get inspired, help inspire my lungs to breathe better oxygen into this story, as it were. So I will start by doing this, and then I will move on to reading. I'm not going to read the author's notes, because then I'd have to get meta with my analysis, and that's a little, I don't know if I can handle that level of complexity, because we're already dealing with some really, really intense theming and characterization, and I'm going to stop doing that, and I'm going to do this now. So I'll be back in a second. Mazel. I'm not that Jewish. I don't know why I said mazel. I mean, I am Jewish, but that's not important. Whatever. Alright. And with that, we begin our journey at Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Hi, my name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway, and I have long ebony black hair. Let's start with this. Long ebony black hair. So I think the fact that it's long really represents how much further through this character journey the character has to go, right? This character arc is going to be long. It's going to be dark. It's going to be dark like the hair. It all connects. It's all a piece of this puzzle. And I have long ebony black hair. That's how I got my name, Ebony. We're already getting some connections here. This is great. With purple streaks and red tips that reaches my mid-back and icy blue eyes like limpid tears. So some might think that is a spelling error, since limpid is like a liquid that is clear or untainted by other things, which doesn't seem to make sense in this context. But you know what? I think it makes a lot of sense, because when you look at it, you look at this real deeply, the character of Ebony Darkness really hasn't absorbed this world yet. She doesn't really understand what's happening. She's fresh into this experience, so she really is like a liquid that has not been tainted by the other aspects of this story that are going to change her throughout her character arc. And this is gonna, I don't know what the character arc's gonna be, but it's gonna be really complicated and beautiful. It's gonna be the Succession War. We're gonna love it. I only talk about the Succession War in live videos. I should do that more in other videos. And a lot of people tell me I look like Amy Lee. Author's note, if you don't know who she is, get the hell out of here. I guess I gotta get out of here. I'm not related to Gerard Way, but I wish I was because he's a major fucking hottie. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Not like I'm monetized anyway. I'm a vampire, but my teeth are straight and white. Okay, this is some deep stuff right here, because the fact that she's a vampire, but her teeth are straight and white, that really represents the dichotomy of her character, how she's split between her care for others and her selfish vampiric ways of wanting to prey on those around her. So she's got this long dark character arc, and she's battling between this vampiric instinct within her and her human kindness, which is really what this is all about. It's all about the duality of man. Yeah. I have pale white skin. I'm also a witch, and I go to a magic school called Hogwarts in England, where I'm in the 7th year. I'm 17. I'm a goth, in case you couldn't tell, and I wear mostly black. Again, this is just, it represents the darkness of her character arc, where she's coming from. I mean, she's coming from this real dark place. She doesn't yet realize internally, like her teeth, which are kind of more internal than your hair and your clothes, right? I mean, yeah, you're following me? It represents how this kinder, softer part of her is buried within her, and because she doesn't smile very much, I assume, from what she's described so much, she really hides that human side of her because she's hiding the softness, the love, she's not ready to express that yet. I love Hot Topic, and I buy all my clothes from there. For example, today I was wearing a black corset with matching lace around it and a black leather miniskirt. Again, darkness, right? We're continuing this beginning of her arc, more and more darkness, really making it visceral. These are things that she's wearing. This is constricting her. The darkness is surrounding her. It's really intense stuff. Black miniskirt, pink fishnets, and black combat boots. Now, I don't know much about colors because I may be colorblind, but I will say that pink, it is a stereotype. Feminine color, am I right? So it's very interesting that she's got this very dark aesthetic, but also there's some femininity to it, She's not afraid of her sexuality. And that's something that I don't see from enough characters these days. She really owns her body, and I really respect that. The pink really represents that. And black combat boots. Again, darkness. She's ready for conflict. She's, not ready. She's not letting herself touch the ground, right? She's not letting herself be grounded, and she's lifting herself into this darkness when, if she really just accepted the deeper parts of her, this light, right? She wouldn't feel the need to separate herself from her roots. Yeah, there we go. The ground, the roots. Yeah, we're getting this. The pieces are coming together. Where was I? Right. I was wearing black lipstick, white foundation, black eyeliner, and red eyeshadow. That's very interesting. So we've got black, white, and red, right? I think these represent her character perfectly because you've got the black, right? This darkness. We've already gone over that. You've got the red, which is like anger, violence, blood. The vampiric parts of her. These things are mixed together. And then white could be a lot of things. It's a combination of all the colors, so it represents. Or is that black? I don't. Let's just say it's that, because I'm not gonna look. I'm not editing this. So let's just say it's all the colors, okay? If I'm wrong, this is an interpretation. It's all subjective. Don't worry about it. So, or maybe it's a lack of any color. But either way. Oh, that's interesting, because if it's a lack of all colors, then that could represent more that she doesn't have an awareness of this struggle going on within her, right? Okay, so that's one area. If it represents all the colors, in case it's the other one, it represents how the conclusion of her character arc will be synthesizing all these conflicting parts of her, and that's going to be this beautiful. Man, so much foreshadowing. Just I haven't even gotten, this is like the first paragraph, and this is deep, man. This is real deep, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mean to assume your gender, person watching this. You're you. You're a human, whatever. There we go. I was walking outside Hogwarts. It was snowing and raining, so there was no sun. Snowing and raining. That's very interesting. Because you've got rain, which can be this, this thing that helps plants grow. It's this real life-giving thing, and it can also be destructive, right? So it's kind of got that same dichotomy of healing and destruction that she's talking about. And snowing, it's taking that water, right, and it's hardening it. It's creating ice, and so that's kind of what she's done. She's taken this soft inside of herself, right? The teeth. I don't know if that was kind of the only other thing, but we're hold on to it. Hold on to it tight. She's taken the inside, the light, and she's hardening it with this dark exterior, and also you can't see very well. Your visibility is bad in the snow, which also and rain, which brings it back to the other thing I was talking about, where maybe she doesn't understand where she is right now. She's having a hard time seeing her way, seeing what the best thing for her is. Okay, we're getting there. And there was no sun. Again, darkness. We're real. This is a real dark beginning. This is like, everyone thinks Guts had a sad backstory, but like, was there even this much, artistry? I don't know. I mean, maybe. But it's hard to even compare anything to this. Anyway, back to the story. Which I was very happy about. Very happy about the darkness. Very happy about the no sun, the raining. It's very interesting. She's under the impression that she's happy, right? She thinks that all these things are okay. She thinks this is just normal, and she's putting on a brave face, and she's smiling through it, and she even thinks that she's enjoying it, which is fascinating. I mean, the subtlety of this psychology in this character is it's really something else. A lot of preps stared at me. I put up a middle finger at them. Yeah, so she's in the face of, she sees something. Well, preps. Well, first of all, we have to define preps, right? Like, what is a prep to her? What does it mean to be a prep? Because to go into the assumption that prep is just whatever a word, that we'd be ignoring a huge part of the story. So I think we're gonna get more into exactly what preps are, because we haven't really seen a prep do anything. So I'm just gonna keep going. We can assume that at the very least she's had bad experiences with preps, right? Because, if your first reaction is to put up a middle finger, something must have happened. There has to be something there. So I'm gonna figure out what that is as we go on. But let's just keep that in mind, that there's pain in this backstory, more darkness. There's she has been hurt. Things have hurt her. Anyway, hey, do I have to give these characters voices? Should I do character voices? I feel like I should, because I can't give you guys the good stuff unless I'm giving you character voices. Well, I gotta get prepared for that, because I actually wasn't prepared for that. So I'm gonna need some help, loosening up. So I'll be ready for it in a second. Okay, I think I vaguely remember, because I went to sleepaway camp years ago, and I read this out loud to campers, and I gave all the characters voices. This was back in the day. This was like a jazz intensive. Just play music 10 hours a day, read my Immortal for 2 hours a night. So it's the dream. Okay, back to the story. Let's see. Combat boots, Hogwarts, middle finger. We're at the part where people start talking. No voices. "Hey, Ebony!" shouted a voice. I looked up. It was Draco Malfoy. Yeah? Introduction to a new character. Love that. Oh, what was there? I was like, oh god, I can't believe this. This is so embarrassing. Oh. "What's up, Draco?" I asked. "Nothing," he said shyly. Okay, well, I need to get over the first wave of embarrassment so I can analyze this. Okay, so let's go over this dialogue. Okay, I'm gonna finish the line and then I'll go over the dialogue. "But then I heard my friends call me and I had to go away." That's fascinating. So we'll go through this line by line. Hey, Ebony, he shouts her out. He's the one who reaches out to her. so far all she's had is people have stared at her, right? These preps stared at her. They didn't interact. They kept her at a distance. And Draco here is the one initiating contact, right? So that's interesting. That hasn't happened yet. So she's in this darkness, but we've seen someone coming in. Maybe she's going to get humanized as this goes on. So what's up, she asked. This is a very different reaction than sticking up her middle finger, right? So we can tell that Draco is someone that she can resonate with, someone that she trusts to at least some degree. I mean, she's not combative yet, so it seems she's opening up. What's up, Draco, right? She wants to know about him. She's opening up. Nothing, he said shyly. Okay, so here we get some characterization for Draco, right? This is perfect. He isn't really open to sharing yet. Saying nothing, that's a real non-answer, right? Like, it's not a real answer to what's up. And he said it shyly. So that's two things. He's not really ready to open up, and he's a little like, I'm not quite comfortable talking with you. But he did initiate contact. So they're both kind of, pulling themselves apart and going towards each other at the same time. It's some real stuff. And then she heard her friends call her, and she ran away. So she didn't have to run away, right? You hear your friends, you don't have to run away. So it's almost like he came in, initiated contact, she was really open, he didn't really open up to her, and then she used a chance to leave. She used an excuse to leave, right? So it's kind of this back and forth dance between these two characters as they're gonna slowly become more comfortable with each other. So this is kind of the meeting up phase, the phase of them, not really knowing each other too well. Chapter 2. The next day, I woke up in my bedroom. It was snowing and raining again. Okay, so we're in the same energy, the same dark stuff. I opened the door of my coffin and drank some blood from a bottle I had. Well, that's just good hydration. I mean, you gotta drink your blood in the morning. Have some more water. Yeah. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I drank some blood from a bottle. My coffin was black ebony, and inside it was hot pink velvet with red lace on the ends. Okay, so again, we've got this, wait, was it red or pink? It was pink. Hot pink. So like this real intense femininity inside of a coffin, right? So it's still not, before she was flaunting it. So she flaunts it, but she also hides it, right? So she's got this dual way of thinking about femininity, right? And we saw earlier, we don't know why she's not super ready to open up with Draco yet, but I have a feeling that it's related to this pink, this femininity, right? It's outside of her, it's inside of her, and she's not quite ready to let every aspect of it out, just some aspects of it. Like the sexuality aspect, yes, but the connecting with people, or, connecting romantically in that sense. That's where, that doesn't really represent femininity, but like, it's words, words are great. Red lace on the ends. So, it's capped by darkness. So it's inside of a coffin, and even the ends are this darkness. So that's very interesting. I got out of my coffin. Yeah, I got out of my coffin and took my giant MCR T-shirt, which I used for, and took off. Well, no, because this is all on purpose. So took of my giant MCR T-shirt, which I use for pajamas. Okay, no, I can't figure that out. That's too complicated for me. I'm just gonna, it's off. I take off my thing, the pajamas. Instead, I put on a black leather dress, a pentagram necklace. I'm trying to stay serious. I'm trying so hard to make this a serious analysis. Yeah, so, black leather dress, we've been here before. Leather comes of an animal, right? So, yeah, that's the only joke I've got for that one. Okay, I got a little too out, so I gotta rein it back in. I'm gonna rein it back in. We got this. Instead, I put on a black leather dress, a pentagram necklace, combat boots, and black fishnets on. So, we've got all this darkness again. It's, same kind of stuff. But the pentagram necklace, that's interesting, because that's a star, right? So again, there's this light inside of the darkness, but withheld, surrounded by it. And blackfish, that's right. I put on 4 pairs of earrings in my pierced ears, and put my hair in a kind of messy bun. Okay, so 4 piercings on the ears. 4 is doesn't that have something to do with death? I'm pretty sure the number 4 is like has something to do with death, right? It's a thing. That's the thing. I know about Karapika. Not really spoilers. Not spoilers at all because the hunter's at 404. Yeah, but that's, I don't need to turn this into a hunter video. Yes, right. So 4 pairs of earrings in her ears. So this represents, this darkness that's surrounding her. And hair in a kind of messy bun. She doesn't feel like trying right now. She doesn't feel like working towards bettering herself. Really working towards moving forward in the arc that's sure to come. So, yeah. So I'm just gonna, yeah. My friend Willow, author's note, Raven, this is you. I said I wasn't gonna do often though, but there you go. That's for you, Raven. Woke up and then grinned at me. Okay, so she's got a friend that she's comfortable with. That's interesting. Well, let's see where this goes. She flipped her long, waist-length raven black hair with pink streaks and opened her forest green eyes. Okay, let's go through this. So black hair with pink streaks. So it's it's got that same like black and pink thing. So it's got that femininity and that darkness, but they're not. The darkness isn't surrounding the pink, if that makes sense. Like it's all throughout, because it's streaks, right? Yeah. So it goes down. So it's more synthesized. So she seems like she's probably a more open, excitable person. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Let's see if my prediction is right, based on this. I bet I could just twist this into anything. I can totally make this happen. This is great. Forest green eyes. Yeah. So that represents. Yeah. Again, she's more open to life. She's just more connected with her roots, right? I really hope she's not wearing combat boots because that would ruin this whole thing. But she lets herself connect with the ground. She's grounded, right? And she's brighter, she's more open, ready to connect with people. She put on her Marilyn Manson t-shirt with a black mini, fishnets, and pointy high-heeled boots. Okay, well, high-heeled, your toes are close to the ground, right? So she's creating this direct passage into her body with her feet, being pointed like this, right? It goes right in, bam. It's not like evenly taken off. It's like that. So it flows right into her. So that's meeting with the roots thing. We put on our makeup, black lipstick, white foundation, black eyeliner. Okay, so she also conforms to some degree, right? Because she's trying to she wants to relate to her friends. So she doesn't. All of these things have been part of the main character. God, what's her freaking name? I know this. Ebony. Right? Yeah, that's the name. Yeah. Oh God, I have to do the voice. I don't want to do the voice. God, I'm not gonna do the voice. I can't do it. I've got roommates. I can't do the voice. OMFG, I saw you talking to Draco Malfoy yesterday, she said excitedly. Okay, so she's excited, right? She's got this more open vibe. Yeah, so I said blushing again. That's a real non-answer. I mean, well, she did answer, but it's kind of standoffish, right? She's creating distance from herself. So that's more characterization for her, which is nice. She's kind of the straight man to the other characters, off the wall thing. It's a classic dynamic between characters, as old as storytelling, really. This is really going to the roots of storytelling. Do you like Draco? She asked as we went out of the Slytherin common room into the Great Hall. Some of this I have to translate, because it's not. Some of I should probably go over some of the spelling, but that's gonna get too bogged down. So do you like Draco? She asked as we went out the Slytherin common room and into the Great Hall. So she asked her that as they're opening up, right? She's opening up as they walk into a more open space. So that is, really the setting is matching the speech, which is a really beautiful thing. I mean, man, I would love to see this made a movie out of, because you could really, or some kind of, series or something, because you could really see the visuals matching with the, when you really get into it, it all fits together. No, I fucking don't, I shouted. Again, combative, non-answer, pushing it away, Yeah. Yeah, right, she exclaimed. Just then, Draco walked up to me. Perfect, right? This is classic moment. This is great. So, her friend knows that she's lying. She can sense things around her. She's in tune. She's like, yeah, right. You don't like him. I know what you're doing. Which is, I mean, that basically proves that she likes him, right? Because if you like someone and someone says you like them, don't you? You're not gonna scream, no, I fucking don't. That's such a non-reaction for that. It's an overreaction. If you don't, I mean, maybe if you just hate that person that much, but we know that that's not the case because she opened up to him in the beginning. It's perfect. So, yeah, good times. Oh yeah, I'm in a new room now. That happened. Recording audio is gonna be fun. Yeah, but right. So she's been combative, and then Draco walks up. Perfect time for him to come in. I mean, that's like a classic comedic. You're talking about a person. You're like, you're lying. I don't like him. And he walks up to you. That's great. Draco walked up to me. Hi, he said. Again, he's the one opening up. He's the one initiating conversation. It's happening the exact same way. Hi, I replied flirtily. Okay, interesting. She's acting very different this time, and I have a feeling it's because her friend is there, and her friend, who's more accepting and open, is influencing her to act more the same way. You know, I love that type of storytelling where there's a character that's really empathetic and opens up, and there's a character that's more jaded and won't, you know, let herself open up to. I'm thinking about a different series where there's a dynamic like that. 2 different series actually. We don't have to get into it. See, it's like those stories. It's like they're just trying to capture what this is really the essence of. You know, there's nothing around it. Every sentence, there's something to glean from. It's incredible. Oh God, I can't get over how incredible this author is. This is a good time. Yeah. So high relief early. You know, she's opening up. She's being influenced by her friend. Yeah. Da da da. Guess what? He said. Okay. Now, he's trying to, you know, bring her in a little more because the last conversation was so brief and they did, but now he's sensing that she's more receptive to his advances, right? To him trying to talk to her. So he's trying to pull a little more out of her, you know, trying to get her to talk more to him by saying, guess what? Making her guess, right? And so, what? I asked. This time, she's more willing to open up than last time. Partially because she's being influenced by her friend, partially because of the feelings she had that were dormant, you know, before when all she could do was stick up her middle finger and kind of run away from people like Draco and just, you know, that's all she could do. And she's starting to open up just a little bit at this point. You know, we're seeing, if she was a seed, this was just the little, you know, thing popping out of it, the little green part with the leaf, the stem. I think that's what's called when it's like tiny. I mean, maybe that's a root. That might be the root. Oh, the root goes first. Yeah, the root goes first. Again, you know, green, going with the friend character. Anyway, where was I? Jesus. What I asked. Well, Good Charlotte are having a concert. I think it's Good Charlotte. Good Charlotte. And I don't know any of these groups. I have bands. Yeah, I went to jazz college. I don't know anything. In Hogsmeade, he told me. Okay, so he's just, I mean, at this point, he's just stating a fact. I gotta keep reading to see how she reacts. Oh my fucking God, I screamed. I love GC. They are my favorite band, besides MCR. Oh, not that band. This is serious storytelling. I mean, you know, you laugh sometimes in serious storytelling. It's you know, there are comedic moments. This is both comedic and it gleams us to more of her character, right? He brought up something that she enjoys, right? And she expresses her excitement. It's her favorite band besides the second one. So this is like a reel that can connect over something. You know, it's beautiful. It's them finding something they have in common so that they can make the relationship grow deeper roots in the future. Well, do you want to go with me? He asks. There we go. That's him opening up. He decided I'm just gonna go for it. Before, I believe there was something holding him back before, right? Was there? I'm gonna scroll back and. Right. He said nothing when she asked him what the deal was. So you know he's probably likely because they're both in the presence of this third character that is. God, what the heck was her name? Willow. It was Willow. So because Willow was there, and she's this more open, grounded person, she's kind of facilitated this energy, this warm energy, and this, keep in mind, this is just after they went from the small room into the open common room. So like all of this, the setting, the third character where they're with, it's influencing them. It's all coming together, and they're both willing to be more open. And now Draco is inviting her to go somewhere with him. It's great. I gasped. So a cliffhanger, classic, end of the chapter, classic ending. This is makes you want to turn the page. It's. I mean, I've seen so many books try and come up with a cliffhanger that's as impactful as I gasped, but this is just something else. This is just, it's like it's the first thing ever. It's the best thing ever. It influenced everything. Everything's come from this. Every trope you know from somehow comes from this, because this was the first literature that was ever written by humanity. Don't worry about it being a fan fiction. Don't worry about it. This is the serious stuff. We gotta really look into this. Chapter 3. On the night of the concert, okay, a little time skip, we're going right to the concert. We don't know if they interacted more, maybe they did, maybe they didn't, maybe they just didn't run into each other. We'll just assume that nothing happened between that and the concert. Because I don't think, he never said when they were playing, so maybe they're just playing that night, maybe just want to go with me right now. So now they're, it had to be on the night of the concert, so I guess maybe it was like the next day? Let's say it was the next day. So on the night of the concert, I put on my black lace-up boots with high heels. Okay, well boots, right? Again. Right? Yeah. Well, they have high heels, but again, they're high boots, right? Yeah, these are boots with high heels, so they'd have to, there's still this. So she's getting closer to connecting. She's now assumed that position, but she can't quite, really let herself totally open up. She's still, a little bit trepidatious. And that's what these boots represent. Black lace up, they're black, so, it's that same darkness thing. Underneath them were ripped red fishnets. Oh, underneath them was red again. It's still there, it's under it. Then I put on a black leather mini dress with all this corset stuff on the back and front. So again, same thing. I put on matching fishnets on my arms, even more of it. I straightened my, it's really piling it on. It's making it like, it's kind of that feeling of reading it over and over again, reading about like, oh, this, that, and the, like, it's all darkness. It's all just over and over again, all encompassing. It's still intense. Okay, well, I'm gonna skip this sentence because there's a self-harm thing, and I don't really want to put that into the universe. I straightened my hair and made it look all spiky. Okay. So you know what looks kind of like, I don't really know what kind of spiky it is. I would guess it's just spikes. I mean, that's the first thing I thought of. I mean, maybe it's like this, but it probably is like that. But I'm just gonna, it doesn't specify, so I'm just gonna go with spiky, like going spicy, spiky. Going spicy. I'm sorry. That was not on purpose. So all spiky. So that kind of, it seems kind of like a tree, like it's got the branches coming out of it. So she's opening up to that, which is beautiful. Again, it's this. She's getting closer and closer and closer, still surrounded by darkness, but still getting closer. And I'm not going to go into analyzing that line because I don't want to. I read a depressing book. I'm gonna skip that too. And I listened to some GC. Okay, so right now she's really wallowing in that darkness, really letting herself be surrounded on it. But she is getting closer to this light. This is a really sad scene because we didn't really get a scene of her in her normal place before, and now we can see like how dark it is when she's alone, which is really, that's the real depths we're getting to here. Where was I? I painted my nails black and put on a ton of black eyeliner. Even more, it's just kind of beating you over the head in a way it's hard to read, but that makes it feel more visceral. That's like, so it puts you more in the place of this dark energy. Then I put on black lipstick, right? I didn't put on foundation because I was pale anyway. So she's not, she's seeing that she already had this light within her, right? She doesn't need foundation to be herself. So she's getting, and because she is what she wanted to be already. I mean, that's profound. How many of us can say that we've really experienced already being exactly how we want to be? That's intense. I mean, that's a beautiful moment. Even after all this darkness, she's she's about to go to Hogsmeade, right? This is the night of. So this is when she's gonna get into that light. So she's kind of ending it with realizing that she's already kind of got the light inside of her, which is always a good lesson to learn, you know? I love that in stories. Or anything here. I drank some human blood, so I was ready to go to the concert. Well, I'm glad that it was specified that it's human blood because it's really good to hydrate, and you know you should probably drink your blood every morning. I guess this is the night of, so that's still a joke, you know, because I said it earlier. That makes it a joke, right? That's how it works. I went outside. Draco was waiting there in front of his flying car. Okay, Draco has a flying car in this. That's how it works. Yeah, so I've got to make something out of this. So Draco's got the car. Again, Draco came to her because all she had to do was go outside. All any of us had to do was just go outside, right? And if we open ourselves up there, we'll find a way to connect with someone who will be there to pick us up. I mean, we can all learn a thing or two from, well, actually not from this character necessarily, but from the growth that this character is experiencing. He's wearing a simple plain t-shirt. Simple plain t-shirt. They would play at the show too. So what I think, I'm sorry, plain white tees, like a shirt that is a shirt for the plain white tees, because they're also playing at the show. I know the plain white tees. Yeah, that's a band I listened to a while ago. Giving Tree is a pretty song. I don't know, whatever, not important. Yeah, I'm like, I don't really listen to that much anymore. It's not important. He was wearing a simple, plain white tees shirt. They would play at the show too. Baggy black skater pants, black nail polish, and a little eyeliner. Sorry I'm having so much reading this. These are words that I'm used to reading over and over again. Okay, so he's wearing the plain white t-shirt. So I mean, we can just say it's a plain white t-shirt, like it's a t-shirt that's just white. It's a plain white t-shirt, right? And so he's here. He's opening up. He's embodying this light, this compassion. And they were gonna play, so they were at the show too. So there's this compassion within him. There's the compassion in where they're going, and these are both connected. So yeah, and baggy black skater pants. Some of these, this is tongue twisters. That's what's getting to me. I'm not used to reading things without getting takes. So they're baggy, so they're open. So it is this darkness, and he's still got it within him, but it's less restrictive. It's more, it allows more space to move out of the darkness. This light shirt. Black nail polish and a little eyeliner. Yeah, so there's there's still a little darkness there. It's not like a character can't do a full 180 right away. That's not really the best storytelling unless there's a real great reason for it, just progression. Progression is important. Unless there's a big event, I'm not gonna. There's different types. There will be some big moments in this, and it'll affect the characters. But right now we're just on a little progression phase, and it's this beautiful little mini arc they're doing. I mean, we're only in chapter 3, 4, chapter 3. Yeah, so we're in chapter 3. So this is it's early stuff, but they've already gone through arcs. I mean, what's gonna happen if they've already gone through an arc just from chapter 3? I mean, this is dense storytelling. Hi Draco, I said in a depressed voice. That's interesting. So this time she's opening up first, but she said it in a depressed voice, which means that she still has that darkness. She's not totally ready to open up, but she is the one who opened up, right? So she's pushing against this, going towards the plain white tees, the lights. Oh my god, God. Okay. Hi, Ebony, he said back. Okay, so they're opening up to each other. This is beautiful. We walked onto his flying black Mercedes Benz. We walked into his flying black Mercedes Benz. The license plate said 666. And flew to the place with the concert. Okay, so there's stuff to unpack here. I'm sure there is. There's gotta be. So it's a flying black Mercedes Benz. This represents that, to have a Mercedes, you have to, have wealth, right? And so Draco is the one who's facilitating going to this concert. He's the one with the car. So it's kind of he's the one who's bringing her out of this. So he kind of represents this safe place to go to, and it's showing that that within every aspect of his life he is more settled and more able to provide, if that makes sense. Yeah, and the license plate saying 666 is a way of relating, because remember, this was foreshadowed earlier when Ebony was wearing the pentagram necklace, right? So it Draco knew that she was into Satanism, so that's a pentagram, right? Yeah, totally. I'm not a witch. Don't burn me. Actually, no one. I don't think anyone technically got burned at the witch trials. Anyway, look it up. That's on you to look up. Pretty sure it's true though. Salmonella. Thank you. Shout out or whatever. Not that Salmonella needs a shout out from me. The license plate says 666 and flew to the place with the concert. And the way we listened excitedly to Good Charlotte and Marilyn Manson, if I knew more about those bands, I would be able to make, or people. Oh God, I'm using all the wrong words with this. But yeah, people. We both smoked cigarettes and drugs. Okay, so they're, on some level, they're both not totally ready to just be comfortable in the moment with each other. They feel the need to escape with drugs. Oh God, the irony of my words. Anyway, when we got there, we both hopped out of the car. We went to the mosh pit. Okay, so wait, when they got there, they hopped right out of the car. So it doesn't even seem like they parked, right? They just, okay, maybe it's implied that they parked. So they found a parking spot, and then they hopped right out of their car. And so hopped is like, that's an exciting movement, hopping it's exciting to hop out of a car. We went to the mosh pit at the front of the stage and jumped up and down as we listened to Good Charlotte. This is the synthesis of all these things that have been hinted at. It's all erupting right now. This is the big dun dun moment. I gotta sit down because my feet are falling asleep. I'm just gonna fall down. This is not okay, no. I'm trying to come up with clever ways to do things that it's not supposed to do. It's sitting on a bunch of drum cases. Like I'm not using a fancy tripod. Yeah, not that that's important. They danced. Yep, beautiful moment. You come in. Oh, okay. These are words. Okay, this is the words to the songs. So we're gonna try and figure out what this means, because I'm thinking of this in a similar vein to those Guts dream sequences. It's gonna be kind of surreal. It's gonna be a little different than what we're used to. Okay. So and it might represent this arc. We might find a way to make it represent this arc. I think we can do it. You come in cold. You're covered in blood. You're all happy. You've arrived. You're also happy. You've arrived. The doctor cuts your cord, hands you to your mom, and sets you free into this life, sang Joel. Okay, so I was right, those are some pretty surreal lyrics. So you come in cold, you're covered in blood, right? This is exactly how she started the story. She was cold, covered in blood, literally drinking human blood, which on one hand it's important to be hydrated, on the other hand, she's drinking blood, which is not the best way to stay hydrated. There's a lot of salts or something. I don't know. I feel like blood's salty. I guess I don't know. I'm not like when I bite my lip, not like. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you're coming cold, covered in blood. She started the darkness. You're right. They're all so happy you've arrived. This represents Draco. She comes in dark, and he's just happy that she showed up at all, and that she's willing to start opening up with him, and that they can start to create this beautiful art together. The doctor cuts your cord, hands you to your mom. Okay, so this is the part that gets a little surreal, right? So the doctor cuts your cord. I'm assuming that means like umbilical cord, right? Because this is, you're being bored. Yeah, right. The doctor cuts your cord, hands you to your mom. She sets you free into this life. So there's this birth imagery, right? So that kind of represents how they're both kind of almost in a way being reborn, right? Because Draco's found a way to become more settled, because at the beginning he wasn't really sure where he was shy. He was a little hesitant to really connect, and here they're together, and so that's a rebirth on his part. And same with Ebony. She was in this place of total darkness, and then at the end she kind of realized who she was, and that she already was who she wanted to be, and then was willing to open up to Draco. And so they came in here together, and they're sets you free into this life. This is like the beginning of their new character arcs. This was basically the first arc, I would call it, called the Hogsmeade arc. I hope there aren't other scenes in Hogsmeade that I'll get to. Maybe I'll make this a series, because there's no way I can get to this whole series. I've been doing this for a while. Series. There's like a bunch of chapters. I've never cared to look. Whoa, let me check how many chapters there are. Oh god, I can't see that. It's so small. Okay, well, chapter 5 is like the last chapter, which doesn't make any sense. There's no way, because there's a ton. That's page 134, and I'm on like page 4 or something. Oh no, not 5, 6, 7. Oh no. Yeah, I'm on page. I shouldn't have done that. I should have gone back. I made that. I didn't check where I was. I'm on chapter 3, right? Yeah. Right. Okay, setting this life. Right. Okay, there we go. So this is what's next. We just got through this real part. Joel is so fucking hot, I said to Draco, pointing to him as he sung, filling the club with his amazing voice. Suddenly, Draco looked sad. Ooh, she said something without really thinking, right? Because she thinks that Joel is hot, thinks that he's externally good looking, right? I mean, that's just an observation, and it's a person that she admires and looks up to. She doesn't mean it, in a way of like threatening, right? She doesn't mean, oh, I want to be with Shardway. She's just stating the fact, and that hurts Draco's feelings. I mean, hearing that from someone that you just opened up to, really expressed himself to, and just says that about someone else, and it's hurting his feelings. What's wrong? I asked as we moshed to the music. Then I caught on. Oh, it's okay. I don't like him better than you, I said. Oh, that's really sweet. So like she noticed that he was jealous and feeling maybe less jealous and more just insecure, like not really sure with his place in relation to her. They're not comfortable. They just kind of, this is their first date. This is them really just starting to get to know each other. So he's not really ready to hear that right now. He's feeling insecure about that. But she opens up and she, tells him that she likes him better than this person that she really admires, which is, that's not a small deal. That's intense to say that about someone. Like, if she really loves him that much, the artist, I don't know if that's the right word. I'm sure that's the right word. Artist, yeah. People make music. Joel, yeah. Right. Okay, really, said Draco sensitively, and he put his arm around me all protective. So this is kind of going back. This kind of has some foreshadowing. There might be, some unhealthy, toxic side effects of this provider thing he's got going, right? Like maybe he doesn't just want to provide for her, he also wants to be the only one providing for her. Which is, it's not realistic for anyone. Not anyone can have every single aspect of themselves taken care of by one person, I don't think. Maybe. Everyone's life is different. I don't know who you are. But, yeah, so, it's all protectively. So this foreshadows a bit of, but also, he cares about her, so that's beautiful. Really, I said. Besides, I don't even know Joel, and I think... and I think he's going out with Hillary fucking Duff. I fucking hate that little bitch, I said disgustingly, thinking of her ugly blonde face. Ugly blonde face. That's one of the most aggressive things I've ever heard. That's beautiful. That's just pure dislike towards a character, towards a person. That's a Hillary Duff. Yeah, that's a person. Yeah, so I guess I don't really know much about Hillary Duff, so I can't really make any analysis on that. But there's a lot of hate towards someone. I'm trying so hard to do this with a straight face. I've said that several times. The night went on really well, and I had a great time. So did Draco. That's great, So there was that little hiccup, but then, it kind of fades into the rest of the time being beautiful. That's great. After the concert, we drank some beer and asked Benji and Joel for their autographs and photos with them. We got GC concert tees. Oh, that's the end of the sentence. Okay. Yeah, we got GC concert tees. So, that's just, kind of a not slideshow, but like, you know, collage. No, there's, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Montage. There we go. There's a little montage of them, you know, drinking some beer, getting some autographs, taking photos, getting concert tees, you know, just having a good time. Draco and I crawled back into the Mercedes-Benz, but Draco didn't go into Hogwarts. Instead, he drove the car into the Forbidden Forest. Ooh. Okay, there we go. And scene. So another cliffhanger before the next chapter. Man, very consistent with that. This is great. This is like, you know, I don't know. I mean, there are some artists with some great cliffhangers, but like, this is something else. So yeah, so we're going to the Forbidden Forest. I mean, that has implications of a place you shouldn't be, right? So they're riding off of this high. You know, they're having a really great time. Well, high literally too, for them. Well, drunk, I guess. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm not exactly sure what they've put inside of their bodies. They smoked drugs on the way there, but there was a whole concert. There's no way in the world this could ever be monetized. Like be taken down, I have no idea. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, they call back. Next chapter. Okay. Draco, I shouted, what the fuck do you think you were doing? Okay, so she knows that this is not a safe place to go. She's not super happy. Draco didn't answer, but he stopped the flying car and walked out of it. I assume they landed? I've never used the word landed for a car before, but I think that definitely applies here. I walked out of it too curiously. Okay, so she's still kind of, this is like, she knows deep down, and even not so deep down, this isn't a good idea. And at the same time, she's still infatuated with him. She's still, you know, riding off of this experience, riding off of the flying Mercedes-Benz. If someone flew me in a flying black Mercedes-Benz, I don't know how I'd react. I'd probably follow them out of curiosity too. Or I'd run away really fast. That's the perfect way to do that. But I am not Ebony. Ebony Darkness. Yeah, so I walked out too curiously. What the fucking hell? I asked angrily. Again, no, she knows this is a bad idea. Ebony? He asked. Okay, so this might be some kind of confession or something. What? I snapped. Draco leaned in extra close, and I looked into his gothic red eyes. He was wearing color contacts. Okay, so earlier I said that red was the, like, blood and death and all that. But you know what? It's also the color of passion. Okay, I just wanted mood lighting in here. I didn't mean for there to be implications. I just, you know, you guys are cool. I think we're friends. Yeah, but, so, you know, he's got that in his eyes. So he's got that passion for her. And he's the one leaning in, bringing, it's also danger. He's the one who brought her into this dangerous situation. He's leaning in, you know, we'll see what's happening. Which revealed so much depressing sorrow and evilness, and then suddenly I didn't feel mad anymore. Okay, so interesting. So he seems to have maybe not sinister intentions, but at least selfish intentions at this point. But interestingly, she's into it, right? It's got sadness, it's got evilness. I mean, that's intense evilness. So she resonates with that. I mean, she's been struggling with this internal light and humanity and this external, like, vampiric, you know, tendencies, which I haven't even brought up much since the beginning. Yeah, so she's... Oh, God, this is so ridiculous. Yeah, but, you know, she resonates with this, and so, you know, she doesn't feel mad anymore. She's reminded of herself when she sees that evilness and sorrow. I mean, those are like the two things that were really established about her at the beginning that she's fighting against. And then, suddenly, just as Draco kissed me passionately. Okay, let me read this again in a way that is... Okay, and then, suddenly, Draco kissed me passionately. There we go, that makes sense. Okay, so, you know, that makes his intentions clear. We know what's about to happen. He's very much like, you know, I mean, this is gonna be rough. I don't know, I'm not sure if I can read this next part. I mean, if you're like a person who's not ready to hear a sex scene, if you haven't seen Berserk, I mean, you might, you know, skip, I don't know how long it's gonna take, 30 seconds or 20 minutes. I'm so bad at pacing myself. Draco climbed on top of me, and we started to make out keenly against a tree. Okay, so keenly, right? I'm gonna analyze this because there has to be something here. There's no, the best sex scenes are ones that add to the narrative and have implications to the character arcs and the characters themselves. So, yeah, so this seems like, they're both into it because, well, actually, I'm kind of interested by this first sentence because this might mean more than I thought it did. Maybe I should have just written it off and tried to read it in what I thought was proper. I need to read this. I don't want to be like, you guys shouldn't lose anything in translation. And then, suddenly, just as Draco kissed me passionately. So it kind of cut it off. Actually, no, that's not. I'm going to try and bring it into a different direction because just as I read that, I thought of it a different way, but I'm just going to twist it because I can twist whatever I want. So I'm going to think that just as she's beginning to, be passionate and open again. She might be, she lost all her anger, and now she's only left with the passion that the night had left her. So she leans into it, and he kind of interrupts her leaning into it. So it's kind of like that Guts scene with, Guts and Costco. That scene was basically made off of this. Where she tried, okay, spoilers, definitely spoilers. So if you haven't read Berserk, please read it, and then I'm gonna skip this next little part. Skip a minute to the future. But when she tries to kiss him and he's like not really ready and he like interrupts her and does it, and kisses her. It's kind of like that, like he wanted to open up and he wasn't ready to let her assert her powerful femininity, right? Like he had to be the provider, he had to be in control. Right now he's got this evil look in his eye, he's kind of the one who wants to be in control right now. Okay, but she's also interested in it, which is important as this goes on because it'll make more sense with that interpretation. Draco climbed on top of me and we started to make out keenly against the tree. So keenly is like paying close attention, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it means. Pretty confident. So that means they're really seeing each other, right? They're being very attentive of each other. This could be extended in some adaptation. This is kind of, it feels like it's the author had these genius ideas in their head, and it's kind of got lost in translation. Like there's something like there's a lot of scenes that could definitely be expanded upon, especially like that keenly against the tree. That implies so much, like caregiving and noticing small things about each other and just these little quirks and this really intimate moment that they're having. He took of my top and I took of his clothes. So assuming it's off, right? Again, maybe this was just lost in translation, or maybe I'll have to come back to this and change my interpretation. But as for now, I'm going to assume that was off because, oh my god, I just saw a word that's coming up. I even took of my bra. Wow, so this is just them totally opening up, Their clothes are off, they're really, connecting. And then he... I'm like 12, I'm laughing at this is great. And then he put his thingy in my you-know-what, and we did it for the first time. There we go. That's the culmination of this experience. But it's interesting, because they're still kind of in this place of danger. He's got that evil in his eye, so I don't think we're out of the dark yet. I think something's going to go wrong. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I screamed. I was beginning to get an orgasm. Okay, I really hope, that clip doesn't just, start playing. I better not see that on my Twitter. I basically just asked someone to do that. Please don't do that. God, for the love of God, please don't do that. I know that's basically asking to do that, but, damn it. We started to kiss everywhere, and my pale body became all warm. Okay, well, there's, warmth, connection. They're bearing their souls to each other. This is, it's beautiful. I just ruined the surprise for you guys, but I got surprised. What the hell are you doing, you motherfuckers? It was ... Dumbledore. Right? Okay. Cliffhanger. Mwah. Oh, can't help but turn to the next page. This is beautiful. I love Dumbledore's character. This is like the equivalent of that one scene where it's in the book, Dumbledore was like, Harry, did you put your did you put the book in the, or did you put the thing in the goblet of fire? Did you put your name in the goblet of fire? And he's like, he said calmly. And then in the movie, he's like, just like shakes it. He's like, ah. So it's kind of like that. I feel like this is like the adaptation. Like I said before, it feels kind of like this is adapted from something. It comes from something. Oh my god, it's almost 3 o'clock. I should be quiet. Very late. What the hell? Yeah, so it was Dumbledore. Great cliffhanger. Going on. We knew there was going to be danger. We knew something bad was going to happen, and there it is. Cashed in on it. Perfect. Perfect foreshadowing. This is really engaging storytelling. I could go through. I could go through this whole book. Like if you guys wanted me to, I would go through this whole. This would be really fun. I have no idea what could possibly happen for 144 pages. I mean, there's so much twisting and turning. It's only been a few pages. I mean, God, this is so dense. I think that's part of why it feels like almost like it's almost like a storyboard, right? Like it's almost like this is kind of what happens. And it feels like if the author really collaborated with someone, they could have expanded this into a much deeper universe, you know? Anyway, yeah, Dumbledore made, and Draco and I follow him. He kept shouting at us angrily. So, yeah, so he made them follow him. That's what happened. You ludicrous fools, he shouted. I bet that's I mean, that's pretty concise. Ludicrous fools. I mean, what they were doing was pretty ludicrous. They were flying in a black Mercedes-Benz. I would call that ludicrous. That's not the point, though, because that's normal in the Wizarding world. Actually, no, it's not, because I'm pretty sure that, like, yeah, no, driving cars were not normal, because I haven't read Harry Potter in a very long time, but I'm pretty sure Ron, like, whatever his name, Ron's dad, had, like, one of the only flying cars, right? Like, that wasn't really a thing. They didn't really do Muggle stuff. He was, like, one of the only guys. One of the only, I don't know. I thought apparently they needed to get bathrooms from them. So, you know, you'd think they would have, from Muggles, so you think they would have expanded a little bit. If you don't get that reference, good. I don't want to be supporting J.K. Rowling with this. By the way, I don't support J.K. Rowling. Is that implied? I should probably have said that at the beginning, but it's not like this is helping J.K. Rowling. This is tearing apart her work. I would love to tear apart her work. Anyway, yeah, you ludicrous fools, he shouted. I'm sorry for all the tangents. I feel like that's a part of what this special is. Because how could I... This is, yeah. I started to cry tears of blood down my pallid face. Pallid? God, what does that mean again? I'm gonna have to... Pallid. Okay, of a person's face, pale, typically because of poor health. Okay, I'm showing off my terrible vocabulary, you guys. Terrible. I don't know, I just don't know. Maybe I do know a word. I got some help in forgetting words, which is an interesting choice to make. Yeah, so pallid face, so pale. So, you know, before she saw that she already was who she was inside, and now after doing this thing that didn't really feel right, and then she got caught, and it's this real intense moment, you know, that thing that was the embodiment of what she wanted has now shriveled into something that is similar, but because of poor health instead of because of this beautiful thing from within. So, you know, that's right. Draco comforted me. So again, now she's kind of, you know, she went from angry, she lost her anger, and then as soon as she really opened up, she got burned. She got burned by Dumbledore. And Draco experienced the same thing, but instead of... But this makes sense for their characters, right? Because she broke down because she's used to being isolated, and Draco leaned on his tendency to want to be the only one to protect her and to provide for her. So he really leaned into that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We went back to the castle. Dumbledore took us to Professor Snape and Professor McGonagall, who were both looking very angry. Okay, so yeah, we got the introduction to 2 more characters. Yeah, Professor Snape and Professor McGonagall. They were having sexual intercourse in the Forbidden Forest, he yelled in a furious voice. Oh, that's not great. You're probably not allowed to do that in Hogwarts, I would guess. Why did you do such a thing, you mediocre dunces? Asked Professor McGonagall. Okay, so there's some characterization, right? McGonagall's kind of sees herself as above others, is, you know, just kind of looking down on them. Mediocre dunces, doesn't really see any potential in them. hasn't seen their intimate character arc. Like we have, all she sees is from the outside. All she sees is the darkness that's surrounding them, right? She hasn't seen this passion that's within, this beauty, this openness to life, to love. Yeah. So, so there's some characterization for them. How dare you, demanded Snape. Oh, I actually have a pretty good Snape impression. I remember you have to do Lilo and Stitch, but then, like, put your neck back, so it's like, I feel weird about doing that with my neck on camera, but, it's like, how dare you, how dare you, how dare you. It's something like that. I don't know. I'm not very good at it, but it's something like that. But anyway, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read the lines. How dare you, demanded Professor Snape. Okay, yeah, so Professor Snape's the angry guy. So he's kind of like Dumbledore, but Dumbledore just exclaimed, right? He was just, what are you doing? What's happening? And Snape has like this judgmental sharpness to his words, right? How dare you? How could you do that? Like who do you think you are specifically? It's more pointed, it's more direct. He's got this more focused anger, and Dumbledore is more just kind of like blah. And McGonagall is super like whoa. So so like there's a very big variety of characters here. And they're all there's a good amount of like moments with them where it's beautiful. And then Draco shrieked, because I love her. Shrieked. So like he's scared too. He's not. He also got burned. He also got burned. I mean, he made a bad choice, and he got burned for it. And now he feels bad. He's trying to support her. He's trying to comfort her, and now he's saying that he loves her, but he's also scared. So that's some characterization for him. He's got the bravery to act even when he's afraid. Everyone was quiet. Okay, so then he set this scene. There's some, music cuts out. Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall still looked mad, but Professor Snape said, "Fine, very well. You may go to your rooms." Interesting. Okay, so at first Snape seemed kind of like this, sharp, angry guy, but beneath that, he's kind, and he maybe that focused nature allows him to see truth and see this deeper aspect of them that the other two couldn't, because Dumbledore was just kind of blah, and McGonagall saw herself as above them. But Snape had such a focus that he was able to actually see them, and his gaze was piercing, and he heard the declaration, and he saw the truth in it, and he was more forgiving because he saw those other aspects. And Dumbledore, of course, and Professor McGonagall still looked right because they didn't, see the same thing. Draco and I went upstairs while the teachers glared at us. Yeah, so then Snape has to put on an appearance for the other teachers, right? Like he's cunning. He has kindness in him, and maybe he'll come in to help them later. I don't know. That would be really nice, wouldn't it, for this little thing that's happening? But yeah. So he has to put up that front of glaring at them. He can't just be like, "Oh, you guys are great." He has to go. "Are you okay, Ebony?" Draco asked me gently. I mean, it's a gentle moment. He's opening up. It's beautiful, Yeah, I guess I lied. Yeah, she got burned. She's not okay, but she's kind of closing back up. She lied to him. She's pretending that she's okay. She gave him a non-answer, and then the thing that afterwards, I went to the girls' dorm and brushed my teeth and my hair and changed into a. Okay, well before we get to the outfit, because I'm sure that has a bunch of symbolism or whatever. Before that, she went to the girls' dorm, so she left. So she lied, she left, she separated herself, just kind of, cleaned herself off, brushed her teeth, and then now we'll see what the outfit is. A low-cut black floor-length dress, like black cut, floor-length dress with red lace all around it and black high heels. When I came out. Okay, so that's some like really interesting stuff right there. So she's wearing high heels now. So she's after this experience, she's now more grounded. She's grown. She's experienced things. So she's touching the ground, And she's got the black dress, but there's red lace all around it. So instead of the darkness surrounding this passion and this femininity, now it's all over, both of those parts have combined. Which is very... Yeah, I don't know what that is. My first thought was trumpet. It might not be a trumpet, but it's probably not a trumpet. I don't know. I doubt there'd be trumpet. Draco was standing in front of the bathroom, and he started to sing "I Just Want to Live" by Good Charlotte. Aw, dang. Well, I don't know this song, but I bet that's a beautiful moment, she comes out of her room, right? The dorm, came out of the girls' dorm. So, she had just got ready. She wasn't expecting to see him. But she was also more open and grounded, and she had learned, and Draco was there for her. That's the important thing. Because Draco needed to be there for her, because that's how their dynamic has been so far. He needed to be the one to initiate. Draco was standing in front of the bathroom, and he started to sing. So he's expressing himself to her. I was so flattered, even though he wasn't supposed to be there. Oh, he wasn't supposed to be there, so she's still in the girls' dorm, I guess. Or maybe it's just after hours. I'm not sure why exactly, but for some reason he's not supposed to be there. So, I mean, there's definitely a reason. There's no way that there's a mistake in this continuity. I won't allow there to be. There are no mistakes in this. This only puzzles to be solved. Oh god, I keep losing my place. Yeah. So we hugged and kissed. Oh yeah, right. Him not being supposed to be there represents how he's really willing to, go the extra mile to open up for her. Yeah. We hugged and kissed. Aw, that's sweet. So, that even though they both got burned, they still trust each other, because the thing that burned them wasn't necessarily each other. I mean, it was Draco's bad decision making, but it wasn't them, really. I mean, they're not the ones that came in and interrupted them, right? That was Dumbledore and the angry teachers. So they're still able to kind of separate themselves. And now, I think this cuts back to the whole preps thing, because, preps, you think of, being closer with the teachers, right? So, we're getting a sense that the preps and the teachers are somehow connected. And that's why she's not cool with them. And likely they aren't cool with her either, because the teachers seem to create this atmosphere of really, not liking these students. Even Snape, kind of has to hide that he's okay with them, because he sees it deep down. So that's very interesting. We're starting to, the pieces are starting, things from the beginning are starting to cut over to here. Yeah. After that, we said goodnight, and he reluctantly went back to his room. That's nice. That's the first non-cliffhanger we've got. I think that might be a good moment to stop part 1. But I'm not completely done analyzing. There's still, just going to talk about this for a little bit. Just muse, it's a beautiful time. So yeah, so that's the first end of tension. So actually, I would call that the end of the arc. I would say that is, unless, yeah, no. It definitely changes. So this is the end of the first arc. I think this was a great arc. I mean, the characters went through a whole thing. They ended up, and it ended in this really beautiful culmination of everything that happened. Where they came back to each other, and when Draco left, he left reluctantly. They both obviously wanted to see more of each other, but they couldn't. It's just beautiful. It was a beautiful ending. So, thank you for joining me on this video. I intended to have it be one take, but apparently, coming up with it's not fake analysis. This is beautiful analysis. This is real intense. It's getting to the point of the story stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this very serious episode of analyzing my Immortal. Happy 420 subscribers. Thank you, all of you. You guys are all wonderful. And have a wonderful day, night, whatever. I will see you in my next video. I might do more live action stuff. I like doing that. Yeah, anyway, have a great time.